We have a shocking New York Knicks trade update, and if true, this changes everything about the New York Knicks and their future for this team as they look to build a title contender after their elimination in the Eastern Conference Finals. And we are going to break all this down. We have a lot to talk about. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, if you're part of that 75% that's not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to Knicks Digest for daily New York Knicks content. We're in that offseason. We're pumping out so many videos for you guys. We're also going to get those YouTube shorts and TikToks back going, so you don't want to miss out on all the Knicks content. You could also find us on Spotify, but let's jump into the video. As we know, Leon Rose is no stranger to making blockbuster trades. The man's no stranger to making trades. Since taking over for the New York Knicks, he's made a ton of moves, and nobody who's on the team that he inherited is still there outside of Mitchell Robinson, someone who's been subjected to trade rumors for like 6 of the 7 years he's been in the NBA. With all that in mind, we know that Leon Rose does not care about breaking bridges on certain trades. For instance, trading away Donte DiVincenzo after they made the Nova Knicks. He moved Devo for Karl-Anthony Towns. We know that even if guys play one good year with the Knicks, it does not mean they're going to stay around forever. Again, you look towards DiVincenzo, you look towards Randall, who kind of got kicked out the door as well. Leon Rose is going to do whatever it takes to build a championship team. And something that Matt and I talked about on the most recent live show is that at the end of the day, it's not about what you did for us in the past. It's about what you're going to do for us in the future. And that's the way that Leon Rose has operated throughout his entire time as the president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks. And there's been a lot of talk surrounding trades for the New York Knicks recently. I mean, even over the trade deadline season, we saw that Kevin Durant was linked to the Knicks time and time again, with the Knicks having reportedly real interest in acquiring Kevin Durant. And that was something that no one really saw coming with the way that the Knicks had given up all their assets for Mikal Bridges and for Karl-Anthony Towns. It kind of felt like the team was fully bought in, so who the hell were they going to be trading for Kevin Durant? Well, now we have a brand new report on this situation, as it was revealed by Chris Davis that the Phoenix Suns are exploring a potential Kevin Durant trade to the New York Knicks this offseason, with significant interest in Karl-Anthony Towns. The close friendship between Devin Booker and Towns, forged at Kentucky, is a key factor driving Phoenix's pursuit. Now, Durant last season did not make the playoffs with the Phoenix Suns, averaging 26.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. He's blocking a shot. He's a much better defender than Towns, even if he's not the world's greatest defender. The 6'11 forward more than the wing, is a 53% shooter from the field and a 43% shooter from 3. Nobody is denying that Kevin Durant is one of the most talented players in the history of basketball. Nobody's denying that he's one of the best players in the history of basketball. The man's been a wildly talented player, but the winning has definitely been a concern. The man has left multiple times if he does not see a path to winning or is not happy, something that is consistent with Kevin Durant. After leaving the Golden State Warriors, a team he joined after blowing a 3-1 lead to them, we saw him have virtually no success. I mean, the man went to the Brooklyn Nets, and that team was a complete and utter colossal failure. We then, and in fairness, I'm not just trying to hate on the Nets, though I like to do that because it's fun, they were injured. It was 3 dudes in Durant, Irving, and Harden who all had injury concerns, and it ended up happening. And if it didn't and they were all healthy, yeah, they would have won the 2021 NBA Finals. But they didn't because of injuries, so it was a failure. And you go and watch how things panned out. The Nets were not a properly ran team. James Harden wanted out. He got out. You then kind of learn that that's become a pattern with James Harden since he got to LA, but now, or not until he got to LA, I should say. He's happy there. On top of that, then Irving wanted out, and Durant later kind of quietly and professionally did request a trade. Ended up in Phoenix where he wanted to go. And now, what do you know? The team failed as well, and now we're finding Kevin Durant to the Knicks rumors. With KD's past failures with recent teams, I don't love the idea of Kevin Durant getting traded to the Knicks when he'll be 37 next season in exchange for Karl-Anthony Towns. I understand people do not love Karl-Anthony Towns as Knicks fans right now. I'm definitely not thrilled with him. I also don't think we should move him for Kevin Durant if we're going to move Towns at all. I get it. The contract is huge. It's not lost on me, but to move Towns for Kevin Durant does not seem like you're making a move that's going to make you much better. Yeah, the defense will improve a bit, but Durant's not a lockdown defender. He's just not as bad as Karl-Anthony Towns on defense. On top of that, you just look at the entirety of the Knicks roster. Yeah, Durant fits in beautifully. but also then you're really thin on big men if you're the Knicks. That's something else to consider. It feels like the Suns would be getting the better end of this deal if you ask me personally. I know Durant is better than Towns. I'm not saying that. When you factor in age, the fact that Durant's an expiring contract and can walk from the Knicks and is also 37 next season, it becomes a little bit difficult to decipher. Now, you also look at Towns' numbers on the season, and they were good. I mean, the man put up 24.4 points per game, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 52% from the field, and 42% from 3. Towns was excellent, and he showed solid play in the playoffs nonetheless. So it is an interesting situation to find yourselves in. Now, we know that Kevin Durant did pick the New York Knicks to go and win the NBA Finals this season. So it's important to note that Durant is watching the Knicks closely and definitely would not mind getting traded to the Knicks. However, you look at the odds, the Knicks are not the favorites or anywhere close. Discounting the Phoenix Suns, who I don't think he'll be back with, the Houston Rockets are the favorites, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are second, but it's a little farther away. The Rockets should be the clear-cut favorites for Durant. He's going to get traded to the Rockets, if you ask me personally. On top of that, I do think second and third are correct here from Odds Shark. It is Minnesota and Dallas after that. The Spurs also make some sense, but I don't think he'll end up there. The Miami Heat don't make a ton of sense, but I could see it in the argument of make KD the best player. You got a decent core there. Giving up Andrew Wiggins and a few other pieces there, you can make it work. The Pelicans, I don't understand. The Knicks, there is some understanding to it. The Thunder, that'd be very, very weird at this point. But you look at these teams, the Knicks are pretty far down the list. Look, it's one of those things that in practice, it makes some sense because he might be a better fit for the Knicks, but then you're short on big men and you're banking on Mitchell Robinson, someone who could likely get traded due to his contract situation being up in a year, so it does make things a little bit difficult. Now, Abdul Carter, who recently got drafted by the Giants and has tweeted out a ton about how he's now a Knicks fan because he wants to get into basketball and shows the team that was in his city being a New York Giant. He said, we need a bucket getter at KD Trey 5, so he's asking Kevin Durant to go to the Knicks. But Karl-Anthony Towns did show up in the playoffs this year, and the numbers reverted a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. He put up 21.4 points and 11 rebounds and 1.3 assists. He shot 48% from the field and 35% from 3. The numbers were all right. It's the factor of the defense that kills people, and I understand that. And we know the Knicks themselves, Knicks players and coaches were upset with the effort that Karl-Anthony Towns gave on the defensive side of things, and many people thought he didn't grasp the importance of the moment, and that's something that the Knicks will trade you for. So if Karl-Anthony Towns gets traded, I won't be shocked, and there is going to be a lot more Karl-Anthony Towns trade news over the coming weeks and months. However, it does become this thing that the Knicks would have to pick that trade carefully. I don't think Kevin Durant is the guy who they'd pick that trade carefully for, especially you consider Towns was good in the Eastern Conference Finals. He put up 25 points and 12 rebounds a game. He shot 50% from the field, 36% from 3. He was the reason the Knicks won Game 3, putting up a 20-point fourth quarter. So there's a lot to go over where you're like, okay, this honestly makes some sense. There's logic to this. There really is. On top of that, you just consider what the trade would have to look like. I don't love this trade, and Phoenix Suns fans will hate this trade. Because, look, you get years of stability from an all-star player in Karl-Anthony Towns. You also could throw them Pacome because you have to for the financial aspect of it to work out. The Knicks taking the 29th pick there makes some sense. Because what do you expect? This team is giving up a 30-year-old NBA All-Star starter for a guy who was on a team that missed the playoffs. Even though Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were on the team, they still missed the playoffs. The Knicks would have to get some draft capital for a guy who they could lose within a year, who will ask for a massive contract extension that'll be bigger than Towns' contract to even begin with. And on top of that, it just will add to this situation where now you're on a shortened lifeline or open window because Kevin Durant's going to be 37 next year, and he's injury prone. So it becomes this situation of, yeah, I understand why Knicks fans want to trade Towns. For Kevin Durant, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up to me at all. I don't see why we would do this. I think if the Knicks do want to trade Karl-Anthony Towns, there's better situations out there, and we do have some more trade updates that we will get into in the coming days, but I do my best to not put out 2 trade videos in a row because I know trade speculation gets old fast, so we're going to ensure to do that. We've got a ton of Knicks news to go over, so make sure to be subscribed. We got multiple videos coming out every day throughout this part of the offseason, and there's going to be a crazy offseason ahead of us. There's going to be so many trades, so many people switching teams. It's going to be one of those offseasons, so that'll have huge impacts on the Knicks, and there will be a ton of videos that I will be making for you guys. So make sure to subscribe, like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, guys, and go Knicks. I tried to stop recording, and I hit the wrong button.